Alright, welcome to Just Magic the Gathering. I was at a certain point looking to do my daily grind and improve. I was thinking my token deck here. The other day I exchanged for Feldar? The Feldar's Retreat, and I never actually threw this into my deck. I really like how this could potentially play for this deck, and I was wondering what I would take out to cover that. And in a way, I was leaning towards my Helpful Hunter just because it is really basically like my only common card in this deck. That I was thinking I'd either take out one of my Cat Collectors, which isn't necessarily a bad option. It's at least closer to the cost of the card that I put in. Because if I took out something like my Helpful Hunter at 2 and added in the 4, it does weight the deck higher. At this point, my average cost is 3.1. So I do like my Helpful Hunter in that it can help get me my mana up, and it can help, especially in the early game, for mana ramp to get me into something like my Spirited Simulacrum. I'm just going to try that. And I have not re-rolled my daily or anything. Boo. I would have rather had the lands for the 500. But either way, oh, on the note of, I never did actually throw those matches, and I lost internet connection yesterday. That was a little on the odd side. I'm glad it happened right at the end of my match. It's like our DNS started failing because we could ping out, and I don't know. It was definitely a network issue. But Saturn Green. And at a certain point, I'm not terribly committed to this. I just figured I'd get in a couple matches, or I struggled with this in some ways, going back to people can play any decks. So because if you don't have a nice deck and you entered into this, you're almost in the same spot that I was, or at least this deck holds fairly well. So I don't know. The giving people with weaker decks an opportunity for an easy win is, I guess, what I was hoping to help with. One of my wins, I think it was more they just didn't want to mess with it. Or if the objective is to get wins, you almost need it to turn in your favor early. And it's just a little bit of a sidetrack. Especially if my objective was to play lands, then looks like he's just playing black. The Phyrexian Arena with the art that I don't even recognize. So the Solemn Simulacrum. So I didn't realize, and then maybe I should just take this offline real quick. The Simulacrum is, whoops, supposed to be the non-seek part. It doesn't really matter. I was going to bail after this round anyways. Great, a 2/2 black zombie. So almost wondering about doing the Plaza or just bailing now. I can just bail now. I don't think that deck is going to struggle with making it through here anyways. What I was going to look at real quick is the Simulacrum. Because there's this one that they just played. When this creature enters, you may search your library for a basic land card, put it onto the battlefield, tap, and shuffle. And then when this creature dies, you can draw a card. There are a couple of the Simulacrum cards. When this creature enters, put 2+1/+1 counters on target creature you control, and you can unearth it, which means you can return it from your graveyard to the battlefield. It gains haste, but you have to exile it at the beginning of your next end step, or if it would leave the battlefield. But ultimately, you can basically get the +2/+2 counters multiple times. This is the one that I was actually looking at potentially doing something with, as far as exchanging for a mythic token. The Simulacrum Synthesizer. Whenever an artifact enters, you get a Scry 2. Whenever another artifact you control with mana value 3 or less enters, you get to create a 0/0 colorless construct artifact token with this token gets +1/+1 for each artifact you control. So this really starts ramping up nicely, and I've absolutely lost games to this card. I haven't seen it in a little bit. I'm actually wondering if this one isn't currently Alchemy legal, if it actually rolled out in the last set. Just wondering, just grab one of my blue decks. And it's not. So I actually have to go down into one of my standard formats. I'm trying to remember which standard format deck I had. It's probably my Mardu Mobilize. Are you standard? You are. So this card is currently legal in standard. Yeah, and there it is. So there are some of the other Simulacrum cards that I didn't even realize were part of, I guess, the whole Simulacrum set. All right, blue or red? I was actually thinking I'm just going to run my token deck. Do a couple ranked matches here and see if I can get a win or two. The Mage, the Mighty. I'm not terribly thrilled, but I can basically play my whole hand, minus my Cat Collector. And now I can play my whole hand. Looks like they are playing blue. Blue-green. I don't really have a lot of options here for... because he just got cheaper there. I'm assuming he's looking at pushing, and I can... yeah, that was definitely a mistake on my behalf. He's playing blue-green. Death Touch, and he gets a land out of the deal. He's mana ramping. Stock up. Look at the top 5 cards of your library and put 2 into your hand. So, he has options. I was wondering about doing something like the Cat Collector followed by the Vanguard. Because that'll create my token. Let's see what he's up to. The Ouroboros. What did I want to do here? If I do something like the Cosmog Zenith, assuming he's actually not looking to defend. If it die this turn, it exiles. I'm gonna go wide. I could take care of the World Weave. I mean, he has 9 mana at this point, assuming he... and he just passed. which in a way surprises me. Doom doom. Just take care of that real quick. Assuming he is looking to do a duty beyond death, or he is looking to block. And probably my new kitty token. And that's game. So one more win and I'll basically happy to call it for the day. My token deck does hit pretty quick. I do like it in that it seems to have fairly good stability, even if I don't really like my starting hand. Which I don't really like my starting hand. There's a lot of opportunity for it to just go from where it is. He's playing white-black, which I'm pretty sure means that if I play my Cosmog, he is going to be killing it. Enduring Innocence, card draw. Excuse me. I don't really at this point have anything to lead me into that card draw, other than being able to attack. He's taking my Dollmaker Shop. My Caretaker's Talent, I think, would have potentially been a better option there. Just questioning here. Until I can actually get something else up. The Unstoppable Slasher. Nice. Yes. Alright, missed that. Good game. I failed the ward cost. And I should have known that. Should have actually looked at the board and made sure it was a 2, or... I don't know. I don't have my... I was trying to actually remember what did the... I don't know why I'm missing the black of my black card. It's not fear of missing out, it's the... And I probably still could have pushed, done the Elspeth Spike, got my tokens. I mean, that wasn't just a failed game, or... I don't know. Moving on. Need one more mana to do basically anything. He's once again playing white-black. This is going to give me some tokens, or a token. And Orobu is actually a legendary, so it doesn't do me a lot of good to... I was wondering, I could have played my other Orinobu. Exile all creatures and this spacecraft. Nice, I guess. And that one would actually, I don't think, prevent it from being destroyed. And I didn't leave enough mana to cover the destroy all creatures. So really, unless I can get into some sort of draw. The Black Lotus. I don't know. I'm kind of in a slowed down state. I'm assuming he has more control up his sleeve and he's playing a control heavy deck. But he is playing white, black, green. Which I'm assuming means he has enchantment control as well. Yeah, this is going nowhere fast. If I was not playing in ranked play, I'd just kind of bail and try and re-roll this. I don't know what he's up to other than just control. as a 5/5. You may exchange life totals. Nice. I'm now down at 12 and he's at 21. I'm not even sure I recognized that card. Wither the Cocoon Keeper. When Wither enters, you may exchange life totals with opponent. Sacrifice 3 non-land permanents. If a card you don't control would be put into an opponent's graveyard, exile it from anywhere. So I don't have much to be able to deal with that. This is pretty much game. Assuming he's not looking to play a Destroy All Creatures. Sheltered by Ghosts. Has a 10/9 flying lifelink. There's not a lot I can do about that. And he double sheltered it by Ghosts. He's going to take my Authority of Councils. And Cecil the Dark Knight, which I don't necessarily recognize. And a 2, that's basically game. Good game. But moving on. I'm struggling to get off of off the tier 3. It looks like I did finish my daily, maybe? Or one of my dailies. I saw some coins roll in there that weren't from the win, at least. I don't recognize the egg. I'm assuming somehow it hatches, or there's like a dragon in there? I wonder when I do damage to him if it'll break. Because normally... Yeah, there it goes. It's a sliver. Huh. I've definitely never seen that one before. Or if I have, I don't remember it. And what are they waiting on? At this point I was going to help the hunter it. Depending on what he does here, I can do the Dollmaker shop and get an extra token out of it. The monastery allows him to draw. For 4, he can exile the top card of his library, and until the end of your next turn you can play it, which is pretty handy. And it comes in untapped if you actually play it with a plains or an island. The Dollmaker shop. Since I don't really have anything to protect him with, I was just wondering if I should have pushed and got my token. The Twin Flame. And at this point I can now push and get my token. And my card ramp. Which will get Elspeth out next round. And what is my replacement card? Oh, my Regal Caracal. So the Twin Flames, if a triggered ability of another elemental you control triggers, it triggers an additional time, which I have a feeling is going to be pretty handy for him. When this creature enters, if green was spent to play it, or blue was spent to play it, did he pay black and blue? I'm not quite sure what happened there. Yeah, I'm not quite sure what happened there, because it triggered 4 times? And as far as I know, it should have only triggered twice. I'll have to almost catch that in replay, because with elementals you can get the boon for being able to double it, but that is not quite what happened there. I don't know why he actually got both the abilities to trigger on that. So whenever this creature enters or transforms, so it's triple triggering. And I mean, I still have enough to do the Regal Caracal. And depending on how he can finish it... Go back to... yeah. Good game. Because at this point, he has a bunch of mana that he can use to play big things. Everything's quadruple triggering now. And that's going to return everything that's not an elemental back. So, I'm pretty sure at this point it's probably his game. I was trying to even figure out how I might be able to get around this. If I do something like my Cosmog, I can create more human tokens. Maybe do the Spirited Simulacrum. But I'm pretty sure there's no real coming back for me on this. Because that's just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. He got 6 triggers off that. And it's because of the Twin Flame Travelers. So you can just keep curtailing his hand to what he wants. His deck, I think, would be susceptible to a mill deck. Three damage to any target, and that's it right there, because it's going to trigger 6 times. So here it's saying he spent green to cast it. And on the other side it's going to say he spent red to cast it, and I don't know how that works. As opposed to just attacking. It's an interesting elemental deck. At this point I think I'm going to go back into tier 4. Yeah, boo. And once again, I didn't make my second win, but I'm just going to call it. I finished a daily, finished part of my pass, and yeah. Look forward to doing some Magic in the future.